In 2000, a small park was opened in New Orleans, Louisiana under the name of Jazzland, which was owned by Alpha Smart Parks. Despite its small size, it proved to be relatively successful. However, there's one thing that it was missing, and that was branding. And considering the fact that Six Flags had no parks open in New Orleans, they decided to scoop up this park and rebrand it as their own. Hence, Six Flags New Orleans. Now, the official deal happened back in 2002, however, they didn't change the name until 2003 just because they wanted to test things out and put their feet in the water. At the time, it wasn't doing great, however, since this was really all they had for Six Flags in New Orleans, they decided to stick with it and keep open throughout the years. They continued to add new things to the park and were even planning on opening a water ride section. However, something really bad happened in 2005, and I'm sure you guys know exactly what it is. For those that don't, Hurricane Katrina decided to devastate this part of the United States. Hurricane Katrina was the 5th most deadly hurricane in United States history and is reportedly the costiest hurricane in United States history as well. And unfortunately, Six Flags New Orleans was not spared from this. To put it bluntly, the park was underwater, and there were a lot of things that just wouldn't work. So Six Flags, knowing that this would sort of be the last stand for them, decided not to want to build any more for the park, which I can't blame them for. They decided to cancel their water park plans, and they were trying to get out of their lease early. However, that didn't really work because they were kind of binded to it. The last day that the park was open was August 25th, 2005, and if you still drive by the park today, you can still see the sign outside that says closed for storm. Now, a lot of you have been asking me to make this video for quite a while, and I've been wanting to hold off because we don't exactly know what's going on in the future. I mean, we have a rough estimate, and thanks to some newer sources that have come forward, I can safely assume what is going to happen, but we don't know for sure. So basically, right after the park was closed, it was vandalized almost immediately. This behavior kept up for years and years and years and was kind of ruining the reputation for people exploring the park, such as Adam the Woo, who I've featured on the channel many times before. It actually got to the point where security needed to be beefed up just because of the amount of people that wanted to check out the park. They weren't sure if more people were going to vandalize it or possibly get hurt and risk a lawsuit. Yes, that does sound ridiculous since they are breaking and entering, however, it is still Six Flags' land. So the city of New Orleans does regularly monitor this area, and it's because of that exact reason that I highly recommend that you do not go to this park to urban explore. You will get arrested. With that being said, and yes, I know I'm crazy, it is still on my bucket list. I know I could risk an arrest, and that's why I highly recommend that nobody does, but you cannot resist the urge to see how beautiful this park is, even in its abandoned state. Nature is clearly not being too kind for it, and even though river country's been closed since the early 2000s, where this was the mid-2000s, I honestly think that Six Flags New Orleans fared worse than river country. I know that sounds ridiculous since it's been closed for less time, but I think it's just all the vandals and the fact that nature's been taking it back a hell of a lot sooner. And apparently I'm not the only one that thinks this way. Jazzland, which is the park I mentioned earlier, is actually rebuying the land and redeveloping it into a new theme park. And this is the reason I wanted to hold off making the video. Apparently this was stated in 2014, however, newer confirmation has pretty much confirmed that this is happening. It's going to be really cool, actually. It's going to be completely re-renovated, and they're going to build new bars, buildings, and hotels right next to the theme park, which is going to be pretty awesome. They're also planning on expanding it a little bit and adding all sorts of new features, rides, etc. One thing I find very interesting about this is the Jazzland Facebook page. Now, normally corporations and companies don't really talk too much to their fans about things that are still in development or perhaps talk lightly about disasters that happen to their older parks. However, they seem to be pretty open about it, talking about how certain parts are underwater and even sharing urban exploring videos. While they, of course, don't recommend that you go there, they are very happy to show off the park in its current condition. I'm guessing this is really done to sort of contrast when the park is finished how nice it's going to look. This is also probably done as a PR stunt to stop people from going to the park. There is construction going on there. I cannot stress this enough, people. I know I've said this 65,000 times throughout this video. Please do not go to this park, as nice as it looks. You will get arrested. So unlike most other episodes of Left 4 Rot, we actually do have a sort of concrete answer, I think, of what's happening to the park. It is going to be re-renovated into the new Jazzland, and that's pretty awesome, as most of these videos sort of end as a who knows what's going to happen sort of deal. As for Six Flags New Orleans in its current state, though, it's just another location that was sadly left to rot. Hello, you wonderful people. Welcome to the Endslate of this video. I'm kind of whispering now because it is very late. I just finished editing this episode of Left for Rot. This is unscripted, and the video's over, by the way. You guys can click off. You don't have to watch this. But I'm just going to put some videos up on the screen to suggest for you guys to watch. The first one on the left is going to be the last episode of Left to Rot, which is Nickelodeon Studios Florida and was months ago because I'm a lazy bastard. And the video on the right is going to be the most recent upload for the channel, which I honestly do not remember what it is. Hang on. It was my highlights for DRP gameplay, or I'm sorry, DanRock gameplay. Oh my god, I'll get sued. So yeah, thank you for watching this episode of Left to Rot. I forgot the name of my own frickin' show. Damn it. And I hope to see you guys next time. Peace out and take care.